if I was the executioner, like a simple guillotine would have not been enough to satisfy me. It would not have been. Hey y'all, what is up? What is good? Ghost Squad, how y'all doing? Today, Black Ghost Face is here to look into YouTube's most disturbed family channel. Now, for those of y'all that have not seen me do the darkest kids TV show, yeah, that hit me quite a bit. And I ain't gonna lie though, videos like that, I'm gonna be like diving into just a little bit because it's like disturbing, but it does intrigue me to where like curious to where like what could be the darkest thing in the world. So we're gonna be diving into this, y'all. Yeah.
I just can't live with it. I'm very concerned for these kids. I just can't let this go any longer. Those kids, I think, are in very serious danger.
Chances are, when you think of a YouTube family channel, you picture something along the lines of this.
What's good, YouTube? You already know what it is. Hey, A7 Man! What's up, Team DO5?
These overproduced videos have become the norm in the realm of family-centric content, garnering an equal amount of both fans and critics alike, with some of the main criticisms across the board being exploitation and manipulation. The idea that these parents paint themselves as having these perfect families, when in reality they primarily view their children through the lens of content creation, oftentimes to their detriment.
So, if you could pray for us, we appreciate it. I love you. Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Act like you're crying. Really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm not just usually crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video.
With their glaring motivation being to make obscene amounts of money and gain worldwide.
That's what I hate. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. This is gonna be one of those videos, y'all. This is gonna be one of those videos. I hate that when parents do that. I hate when parents do that to where you use your kids to get more clicks. Like, it's so much to talk about, but we're gonna just dive in, y'all.
Fame. But if you look deeper beneath the mansions, fancy cars, and millions of subscribers, you'll find that most family channels here on YouTube actually look something more like this.
They use their kids
Also moments
to get
captured
clicks.
by parents not as a way to make money or gain fame, but to immortalize memories that otherwise might someday be forgotten, with these videos often accounting for some of the most wholesome content on this whole site. But as with everything in our world, there are always outliers, and buried within these perfectly inconspicuous accounts lies one page in particular, whose backstory is so evil that it can only be described as one of YouTube's most disturbed family channels.
Jennifer Hart, what do we know about her?
We weren't duped. That love wasn't fake. They loved their children.
And so it begins.
Before we get into today's case, I want to first thank our sponsor, Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep is a premium mattress company that offers personalized beds to fit your specific sleeping needs. By using their Helix Sleep quiz, which takes into account what kind of sleeper you are and what kind of mattress you prefer, before pairing you with a mattress of your dreams. At first, I was a bit skeptical about buying a mattress online and not being able to test it in person, but I actually did take the Helix Sleep quiz and received one of their mattresses over a month ago, and it has been life-changing. They paired me with the Helix Midnight Luxe mattress, which is designed for side sleepers like myself, and I have honestly never slept better. And the best part is that I never even had to leave my home, as Helix ships their mattresses for free anywhere in the US. All you have to do is open your box, unroll it, and within no time you'll be sleeping peacefully on your brand new bed. And with their 100-day money-back guarantee, it is essentially risk-free. I love my Helix Sleep mattress, and I think you would too. So if you're interested in getting a new mattress, definitely check out Helix by going to helixsleep.com/Nick Crowley to get up to $200 off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows.
And now onto our
February
feature
16th,
presentation.
2008, Jennifer Hart begins her own personal YouTube channel, using the account for browsing and liking videos, though never really having time to upload her own. Just 2 years prior, in 2006, Jen and her soon-to-be wife Sarah had adopted 3 children, Abigail, Hannah, and Marquise. And though taking on this many kids at once seemed to be a daunting task, the Harts actually embraced the challenge, loving it so much that just 2 years later, in 2008, they would adopt 3 more children, Sierra, Devante, and Jeremiah.
Whoa, okay, first of all, now adopting 3 kids is like, it's great and everything. But if you adopt 3 more, are you trying to be like the Smiths? Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, the Smiths, like, Agent Smith and all that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah, that. Okay, 3, like I said, 3 kids adopting. Okay, sure. You wanna prove to them that, hey, I could be a parent, right? No, hey, no problem. I ain't got a problem with that. But if you adopt 3 more, you got a secret project that I need to know about.
To add the cherry on top of their newly formed family, the couple would tie the knot in 2009, and in the span of just 3
don't get me wrong.
years,
You love
these
kids,
college
hey,
sweethearts had
cool.
become the
Adopt
married
all you
mothers
can.
of 6. Taking all this into account, it makes sense why Jen wouldn't have the free time to post on her channel, though this would eventually change by the end of 2011, when her very first video would go live. This wholesome clip would kick off a rather consistent streak of uploads throughout the following year, with each having a focus on Jen's children, and specifically the many adventures that they shared. In some clips, we see the kids dancing at music festivals, or exploring the wilderness on a group hike. No matter what, they always seemed to be out doing fun and interesting things, and they always had big smiles on their faces, making it seem apparent that the Harts were in fact a happy family.
Yeah.
But not just that, they also clearly had strong morals as well, with these festivals that they often attended always being themed around the idea of love and inclusivity. At one point, they even uploaded a performance featuring 4 of the children, with lyrics further asserting their desire to make the world a more unified place.
This is a place where all relations bring celebration to meditation, giving thanks for all creation.
All in all, it's a rather touching account, with one of the younger sons, Devante, clearly being the star of the show, as the camera always seemed to be on him, with the young boy even having a few solo performances on the channel. And though I'm sure they'd never admit it at the time, it's not hard to tell that he was the clear favorite of the bunch. But most noteworthy for now is that in multiple videos he's seen donning a sign that reads "Free Hugs." Devante would wear this to many of the family's public outings, and in turn attract a large amount of attention that Jen would then film and publish on her social media pages, which wasn't exclusive to just YouTube, as she was even more active across her Facebook page, posting pictures and stories about her children, including multiple photos of the infamous Free Hugs sign, a sign that was about to thrust the family into the public eye for the very first time.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I can understand, okay, I know this is going to get dark and everything, but I do want to clarify that if you have kids, if you want to be a parent and you have like 3 or more kids, or 2 or more kids actually, make sure you don't involve favoritism, because that's when it's going to get rough. Your parenting is going to get even rougher if you have a favorite. All right? It's either one kid, the kid might be spoiled, or you have multiple kids and the kid is going to have a new personality called Grudge.
There's growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri.
Following the killing of Michael Brown Jr., a rally was held in Portland, Oregon, opposing racial injustice. And for the Hart family, this call for unity fit perfectly with their perceived beliefs. So Sarah and Jen took the children to the protest, where Devante would again wear his signature sign, leading to this moment being captured by cameras. It was an incredibly inspiring and optimistic picture that would immediately be shared all across the world, with most of us having probably seen this at some point in our lives, whether we remember it or not. And not only did it represent hope for so many across the country, it also perfectly encapsulated the message that the Harts were trying to send. They clearly wanted to be perceived as this loving family who stood firmly against hate, which, just based on their content, they truly seemed to be, despite the fact that it was all nothing more than a facade. Across Jen's Facebook page, she mentions numerous times that Abigail, Hannah, and Marquise were her and Sarah's first children, even saying how Abigail was the first of her children that she ever held in her arms, adding that that was the moment she became a mother. And as sweet as these words are, they technically aren't completely true. In reality, 1 full year before Jen and Sarah adopted their first group of children, they had actually fostered another child, a teenage girl named Lee. Together, the three lived peacefully for around 6 months with no real issues, though around the end of this time, something seemingly switched within the mothers, and for Jen specifically. Suddenly, they grew cold towards their new child, often picking fights or even just ignoring her for days on end. They also started to constantly complain to friends about having to take care of her, and they didn't seem to be taking their roles as mothers very seriously. At one point, they had remarked to friends that they had caught Lee on numerous occasions rummaging through the trash and looking for food, which further added to this strange, newfound tension within the household. Despite this fighting, however, the mothers would eventually agree that Lee would be able to stay with them until she was 18, also adding that she was going to have to take on the role of being a big sister, as they were planning on adopting 3 children. And though they had their rocky moments, Lee was just relieved that she had a place to stay. However, just 1 week after meeting what would become their first group of adopted kids, Jen and Sarah would drop Lee off at her standard therapy appointment and never return. Lee was obviously devastated by their abandonment, but perhaps most hurtful of all was the fact that Jen and Sarah never spoke to or even about Lee ever again, immediately moving on to their new children and parading their loving household all over social media, while essentially rewriting Lee out of their family's history. This treatment of their first foster child immediately calls into question the online persona of the Hart family, as there was nothing loving about the way they left Lee. But on this note, you might be wondering, why would they even have to sell an online persona at all? Looking at the aforementioned popular family channels, there's a very clear reason why they manipulate their audience: money. This type of content is some of the most lucrative on all of YouTube, and given these parents' desperation for the limelight and wealth, they would do just about anything for it, including exploiting their kids and manipulating their audience.
And that is just one of the punchlines right there. That's not even the main punchline. That's not even the main punchline. So they had a kid called Lee, and it got so bad to where Lee was digging through the trash for food. Is child neglect? Yes. Child abuse? I can't say physically. Can I say mentally? Yes. Verbally? Yes. Because it got to where they don't even want her around. They got to where we forgetting that you exist. It just cleared our mind. You don't exist. Oh my God, it worked. And wow. But let me just jump into the manipulation of the audience. You got YouTubers who do that. It's like if you're doing a video right now and okay, I'm not getting enough clicks, enough likes, and you see that's one of the problems right there. If you're not doing what you love, so what, you're gonna be a manipulator now? So hey, let's be parents and use these kids to make us rich. Right? Like, oh, we love our children. I love these kids. I adopted this kid at this foster home about 2 years ago, and I just adore this child right now. I adore, what's your name? Charlie? Charlie. I adore Charlie. But off screen, just straight up abuse, verbal abuse, bullying. You do what I say, otherwise you go live on the streets. it's just bad, man. Like it's like the moment you get exposed, it's like that's it. That's it. There's no going back. Don't be doing your little fake crying and everything. That I'm so sorry and everything. Like, bro, you've shown your true colors. There's no reason for you to do no apology video to say, oh, I'm sorry to everybody. No, it's too late. It is too late to apologize. Too late.
But just looking at Jen's channel, well, it's obvious that this was never gonna make her wealthy and famous. But despite this, these mothers did actually have a good reason to put on this facade, as they weren't aiming to manipulate the entire world, but instead, they were merely trying to manipulate those around them. In 2008, one of the Hart children, Hannah, was stopped by her teacher after noticing a large bruise on the young girl's arm, and when questioned about how she had gotten it, Hannah would admit that her mother, Jen, had struck her with a belt. This incident would be reported to police, with teachers adding that Hannah also had been having bizarre issues with food, as she was caught stealing snacks from other classmates and taking food from the trash, just like Leah had done years before. Though immediately after being questioned about this, Jen would pull all of her children out of school and have them spend the remainder of the year being homeschooled, with the case being closed soon after. The following year, the Hart children would be allowed to return to school, seemingly when Jen thought they were in the clear. However, at the end of 2010, an eerily similar instance would occur. One school day, Abigail Hart would complain to one of her teachers of having pain in her stomach area, and when asked exactly where it hurt, she said that she had owies on her stomach and back, before adding, "Mom hit me." Again, this incident would be investigated by police, who this time would interview each of the Hart children separately, which is where Abigail would admit that her mother had held her head under cold water before striking her with a closed fist, and all because she had supposedly stolen a penny. On top of this, the other kids would explain how their mothers often hit them as well, and rarely allowed them to eat. Sarah would go on to deny these allegations of neglect, but she would admit to having hit Abigail, a confession that led to her being arrested for domestic abuse and eventually spending 90 days in prison. Though there are some discrepancies here with this story, as some have reported that Abigail had actually said that it was Jen who had hit her.
Nah, I knew it. Oh God, man, I knew it. Wow. So she, pain in her stomach and back, just dunked her head in cold water. Wow, man. Yeah. You're going to have to get beat up for that. Yeah, just going to get beat up. Like, there's going to be some angry mothers gonna be beating you up for that, because that's the one thing you don't want to do, is that, especially get exposed to. Because if the kid is telling the adults, where did you get that bruise from? Oh, my mom hit me. I got pain in my stomach because she basically hit me with her closed fist. Now, okay, on one hand, we all know that kids get bookings, right? We all know that if a kid do something bad, see, now back then, back then, you used to just drop the elbow on the kid and everything, right? But nowadays, oh nah, if you whoop your own kid, your kid would literally call the police on you to say child abuse. Got bruises here and there. My mother hit me for no reason. She say it's something bad because you know down the road they gonna believe the kids more than the doggone parents. Because the kids never lie, and that's the one thing kids have the advantage of, to where who you gonna listen to, the kid or the parent? Who's it gonna be? And knowing that, wow, she beat her up because of she stole a penny. And not just that, it's just basically abuse. That's just it. You basically abuse your kid off camera. Didn't I say that? Like on screen, happy, joy, hugging all kids and everything, that I love children. But as soon as the camera is off, bring out the belt, bring out the brass knuckles, spike cleats, and start just abusing them. Because you're not helping me make enough money. You're not selling it. I want you to sell it. Sell it like you're actually in the movie. Make it to where everyone believes it. Nah, man.
And that Sarah was merely taking the fall for her. But either way, Sarah would serve her sentence in April of 2011. Things didn't stop there, however, as after Sarah's release, Hannah Hart would go to the nurse's office and begin begging for food, claiming that her parents were again refusing to feed her, and that she hadn't eaten all day. In response, Sarah claimed that she was merely playing the quote-unquote food card, and proceeded to immediately pull all of the kids out of school once again, to which this time they would never return, as the family packed their bags and moved from Minnesota to Oregon practically overnight. And conveniently enough, it was right after this move that Jen started her consistent posting across social media, portraying their family as picture perfect. This channel was never made to make money or to make the family famous, but just based on the timing alone and their hyperfixation on peace, immediately following all of these horrible accusations, I don't think it's crazy to assume that these videos were uploaded in an attempt to repair the family's image, and even to potentially thwart criticism or investigation into their alleged abuse. I mean, the children are quite literally shown in one video singing the phrase, "We are so provided for," over and over again, conveniently right after their parents were questioned about neglecting their kids.
We are so provided for. We are so provided for.
I bet you she just manipulated them to sing that song. Like there ain't no, there like it is like a song like that. How can you make some lyrics up for that song? Just basically, it's like the trust and obey. If you know what I mean when I say that. If you don't know, I say go check that video out. Darkest Kids TV show. But no, jumping back to this. It's like she manipulated them to sing that song. She manipulated them to sing that song, and you got some disgusting people, y'all. You really do. It's like it could be 30 years in the future, you still got disgusting people, and it's like for some reason it just gets worse. You do the dumbest things just for attention. People get killed over the dumbest things. Like it's just sad. It's sad and it's disappointing. It truly is.
And this isn't merely speculation either. These parents had a legitimate history of abuse, both proven and alleged. Plus, between the multiple instances of children desperately rummaging through the garbage for food, and the claims that they were never fed, made this family truly seem like a nightmare. And based on this, realistically, no one would or should view them as a model family. Yet that's exactly what they were to friends and family. In fact, one close friend would later state that everyone was envious of them. They were the perfect people with the perfect kids. And this is in large part due to their posting on social media, making it clear that this online facade was in fact working, despite the fact that behind the scenes, the horrors within their home were only getting worse.
I don't. This is just half. This just half of this. So you see what I'm saying? It's like stuff like this is like, bruh. I always ask people this. Okay, you want to be a parent? Fine, cool. But now, I'm sure right now it's getting to where, why do you want to have kids? That's the question. Why do you want to have kids? Because after seeing videos like this, are you gonna be an actual parent and love your children, or are you gonna be that type of parent? No, not even a parent. Not even a person, scumbag, Nazi, whatever you want to call that, that's just straight up just an insult. Are you going to be that type of thing that you're going to use kids, your own kids, or even kids you adopt for your own fame and fortune? You're not feeding them. They have to get food out of the garbage can. They have to steal food from other kids at school or from the cafeteria because they haven't ate in days. You do know someone's going to realize that. Once one person realizes that, it's going to spread like a virus. And sooner or later, there's no getting out of that. Child neglect? Like, it's like you basically bought a toy. and this toy is moving around, talking and everything. It's like you're seeing this kid or kids as toys. We all know you can't feed a toy, right? So I'm treating them as a toy that helps me get richer. That's basically what you're treating them as. You treat them as toys, and obedient toys. Like if you're not making it sell, if I'm supposed to get I'm supposed to get $1,000 today. If I get $999, I'm about to whoop your butt. You gotta get a bruise here, and right back there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Having been aware of the family's sudden and suspicious move, authorities would launch an investigation into the Harts, revealing just how controlling the mothers were. In the home, the children were not allowed to speak unless they raised their hands. They were not allowed to wish each other happy birthday, and they were not allowed to laugh at the dinner table.
What?
Stark contrast to the household that Jen spoke of on her Facebook page, where all the kids have an equal voice. On top of this,
They didn't. They didn't get jumped. Like just straight up, just like yo, throw them in the WWE ring, tables, ladders, and chairs, and just start just wailing on them with tables, ladders, and chairs. They're not allowed to speak unless they raise their hand. Not allowed. Happy birthday. Not allowed to laugh at the table. Are you for real? You're not allowed to laugh at the table? Bro, these kids are in prison. No. In prison, you could laugh. You can wish someone happy birthday. This is a for real Nazi prison. This is what that is. Like what's the most strictest prison in the world? And multiply that by 2 and you get this. You're not a... Wow, it's like... Okay.
The children were also severely underfed, as the two mothers used food as a means of further controlling them, thus explaining why they were always hungry at school. And if you look back at the videos on Jen's channel, you start to realize that the kids are incredibly skinny, and they appear far younger than their actual ages, with some viewers even pointing out that the animals seemed better fed than the actual kids themselves.
That's terrible.
But despite these findings and the history of abuse, police would eventually choose not to press any charges. And one interesting note here is that the investigation lasted through the bulk of 2012, which was the same time that Jen just so happened to be the most active on her YouTube channel, just further adding to the theory that this page was designed to distract from their dark history. But now...
So, the police decide not to press charges. Are you kidding me? Can you, just imagine. You seen a kid, right? Okay, let's say, you see a kid in the neighborhood, right? And you know this kid, right? Like, if this kid comes over to your house, and you're bonding with this kid about to go home, to the kid's family, right? And if you see this kid again, and you notice how skinny this kid is too, what happened to you? Are you working out? You should be working out. You're a kid. You look like you go to middle school. Why you look so skinny? Why do I see your rib cage? Why's your face it's like getting sucked in and everything? Like what's going on here? Right? You'll be concerned knowing that this kid, and knowing that the animals are being way more fed than them. Wow, it's nice to know they care about the animals. Wow, that's real sincere of them. But they underfeeding them. It's like worse than prison food. So if you do good, I'll give you a French fry. If you do great, I will give you 2 French fries. If you make me more money that I never had before, I'm going to give you, wait for it, a small pack of fries. You see that? I'm a loving parent. Like that's despicable.
Now, with the police at least for the moment off their trail, the abuse only continued. In 2017, the Hart family would move to the state of Washington, where one night at 1:30 a.m., their next-door neighbor would receive a knock at the door. Standing there was Hannah Hart, the consistent whistleblower of her parents' abuse, who had jumped from her second-story bedroom to escape her house before telling the neighbor, "Don't make me go back. They are racists and they abuse us." Moments later, Sarah and Jen grabbed the child and brought her back home. Upon being questioned by the neighbor, Sarah claimed that Hannah was lying and that her behavior was due to her being a drug baby, an excuse that failed to work, as the neighbors would still end up calling the police.
Drug baby?
You told me about it. I just can't live with it. I'm very concerned for these kids. I just can't let this go any longer. Those kids, I think, is in very serious danger.
Only to be immediately brushed off, with a patrol car never being sent out. From that moment on, however, these same neighbors, the DeKalbs, kept a watchful eye over the family, noticing their bizarre patterns and mistreatment of the children, and before long, another one of the kids would come to them for help. This time it was Devante, who would stop by to ask for food, which he soon began doing on a daily basis, sometimes visiting as many as 3 times a day, while also subtly mentioning that they were all being abused and that they desperately needed help. And having finally heard enough, the DeKalbs again called 911, which prompted an immediate response from authorities, with the Department of Social and Health Services launching an investigation into the family. On March 23, 2018, the agency would stop by the Hart house and ring the doorbell, though they received no answer. 3 days later, on the 26th, they would arrive once again, garnering the same results. This time noticing that a stone wall on the driveway had seemingly been destroyed, with tire marks leading up to it, insinuating that the Harts had left in a hurry, as by that point, it was already too late.
And you know what it's like life is like a mystery, y'all. So if a kid comes up to you begging for food, and you know that, wait a minute, why are you begging me for food? You live in the house with a loving family. I mean, I seen it on YouTube. I mean, the smiling faces and everything. Like, I'm thinking you should be well fed, right? You should have a fat belly right about now, right? But you're coming to me for food, begging, and the kid is saying, "Don't let me go back. They're racist and they abuse us." If that ain't the biggest hint right there, because remember, the kids don't lie. It's like kid seeing a ghost, and we all know kids can see ghosts. So if a kid is waving at someone and they're not there, you're waving to nobody. You're waving to a ghost. So I would believe that instantly. But if a kid is saying, "Don't let me go back," these people are racist and they abuse us. And the police gonna just shrug it off, and drug baby. So you think this kid takes drugs, huh? Drug baby? Why is that? Why? What made you jump to that conclusion that drug baby? Oh, just saying anything for attention. Don't mind her, Hannah. Now Devante. The most loved one, right? The favorite one, right? Now he's going to them for food. Begging 3 times a day? 3 times a day. You would think right about now, bro, we marching over there. Now they had to move again. Because the moment that, oh no, cops coming to the house, the same neighbors coming to the house. Now, oh my God, we're about to be exposed. Let's hurry and get out of here. Let's move again overnight. They probably moved like about 10 times.
Sarah and Jen were obsessed with control, so much so that they would starve their children to more easily manipulate them, and their desire for control branched past their home, as they wanted to shape the public's opinion on the family by using social media to spread their lies and erase their history. But with their own children breaking free and exposing them over and over again, and criminal charges now likely looming in the distance, they began to realize that this control was slipping away, and they couldn't bear the thought of it.
Wow.
So the day after the Department of Health and Services had gone to their home, Sarah and Jen would load their children in their vehicle and begin a road trip to California.
A road
While
trip.
driving on State Highway 1, Jen would pull the vehicle off the road towards a scenic overwatch, bring the vehicle to a complete stop, and then slam on the gas, driving the car directly off a 100-foot cliff into the rocky waters below, the result of which leaving no survivors.
So they tried to fake their death. They tried to fake their death for me. Oh, wow. Wow. So Sarah and Jen, they have a obsession of manipulation. A addiction over controlling these kids. Like, you do exactly what we say. If not, you're getting the belt. And not just the belt. You also gonna get a knuckle sandwich, too. Like, wow. And as soon as the health and service showed up, now, oh snap, it's getting serious. So now it's getting so serious to where we need to fake our own death so that way no one will find us. We just presume dead. We are gone now. Their car went over the cliff and there was no survivors. Wow.
Initially, those close to the family swore up and down that this had to be an accident, as after all, they were the primary targets of the heart's media manipulation, though any thought of this being accidental would quickly be thwarted by Sarah's search history, as during their road trip she had looked up, can 500 milligrams of Benadryl kill a 125-pound woman, and how long does it take to die from hypothermia while drowning in a car? It would also be determined that Jen was heavily intoxicated during the time of the crash, and that the mothers had in fact bought Benadryl while on their road trip and served large amounts of it to their children within their sandwiches, with Sarah herself having taken 42 of the pills, proving that this entire event was in fact orchestrated by Jen and Sarah. The red flags, the warning signs, they were all there, but to those on the front lines of the Heart's propaganda, this was the shock of a lifetime. But between the loving posts, the family pictures, and the heartwarming videos, how much of it was actually real? Well, very little, if any. Following the murders, it would be heavily theorized that most, if not all, of the photos and videos on Jen's social media were in fact staged, with one cameraman who had photographed the family stating that Jen does this thing with her Facebook page where the kids pose and are made to look like one big happy family, but after the photo, they go back to looking lifeless. While another witness claimed that the starving kids were given food as a reward for posing for these photos. And on Jen's YouTube channel specifically, it seems to be more of the same, as although these clips may seem so natural and normal, the reality is that they too were planned by Jen, with the smoking gun being one video clip in particular in which she made a critical editing mistake.
Okay.
In it, Jen forgets to edit out the beginning, which shows the kids waiting and staring at her as she directs them on where to stand. Each child has an empty and fearful look in their eyes and are deathly silent, and upon being moved into the perfect position, the children then begin to walk naturally, as if they were being impromptu recorded on just a regular hike. It is an extremely chilling video in which we get to see the influence of Jen behind the camera on full display. And to make it all the more terrifying is the fact that throughout the rest of her channel, the kids often have this same look in their eyes, showing us that even these seemingly unplanned, spur-of-the-moment videos were likely staged and controlled, at least in part, by Jen and Sarah. And the deceit didn't just come from their photos and videos, it also came from their own words. They claimed to love their children, yet it would later be revealed that Sarah had spoken privately to friends about how much she regretted adopting them. They preached veganism on both of their Facebook pages, yet when police searched their home following the crash, they found a fridge full of meat. They stood firmly against racism online, yet given the testimony of Hannah and others around the family, many believe that they were actually themselves racist, with some even labeling them as white supremacists. And finally, they preached peace. Yet for years they beat their children and eventually stole their lives. And if there's any question as to how effective these lies were at making them seem flawless, just listen to what their friends had to say following the crash.
It doesn't compute. I'll tell you, none of that lines up with the people that we all knew. Jen and Sarah really were the kind of parents that I think the world desperately needs.
We weren't duped. That love wasn't fake. They loved their children. They weren't white supremacists. They just were isolated. They were in pain.
Even to this day, with the years of abuse and the final act of murder on full display, some friends of the Harts still remain in denial, refusing to believe that they had been played. Though the reality of the situation is undeniable, with other friends having come to terms with the betrayal by stating things like, "Everyone always loved and supported her to an insane degree, myself included. It's easy to see how fake it all was in hindsight, and knowing them via social media after, everything seemed believable. I looked up to Jen and wanted to be a mom like her one day." And I think the most substantial of all these witnesses was the neighbor of the Harts, a man who got to witness the family when their guard was let down, and look past the facade and see them for who they truly were.
You know, there's a lot of people online saying that they were beautiful people, and at some time they may have been, but that is not what we saw next door.
Hey, just, you got people like that, man. You got people like that. Like, and you know what the funny thing about this is? The funny thing and irony thing about this. You think that doing stuff like this, right? Thinking that, oh, I do this, I could get away with this. But it's like the moment you get caught, the moment you get exposed, you sing a different tune. You beg for forgiveness. You beg for another chance to where I could change and everything. But you've been abusing and neglecting these kids for a long time, right? You would think that, what is the difference between right and wrong? So you think that manipulating these kids is right? You think that making these kids starve is right? You think that, cause it's the little signs. It's the little signs. You can tell that in the picture, and let me see if this makes sense to y'all. In the picture online, you see that everyone's happy, right? But once you see like the raw footage, you can tell they're not looking happy. They look intimidated. You know, they look scared that, oh, I hope I get this right because I want to eat that French fry, right? If I do good, I get a French fry. If I do great, I will get a small pack of fries, right? Like, it's like, I won't have to eat out of the garbage can if I do great. A small pack of fries, oh man, I'll be full for the next 2 hours and everything. Then, just wait for the next day. That's all I'm gonna eat today. Like, it's just bad that you're and Sarah thinking that this is great and all, and you got the friends who don't want to believe that, oh, they're not evil, they're not white supremacists, they're not racist, they love their children. How can you say they're white? How can you say they're racist if they adopted black kids, huh? How can you say that? They're not racist, they're not white supremacists, okay? So don't go throwing words like that. You're making yourself look bad. Like, you don't know what's going on in their house, okay? Anyone can say anything and you will believe that. You will believe that. But once you see the footage and everything, now it's going to be different. Now you're going to start believing, And that's the thing too, man. You got people that is a lost cause. It's like, even if, you got people that's a lost cause. If I show you the raw footage of what they've been doing to these kids, are you still going to be on their side? Doesn't that mean you're also, white supremacists? You know what I mean? Or does it also mean that you support what they do? Is that what you're telling me? The neighbors. When the kids went over to the neighbor's house, they was like, nah, these kids have not ate. you would think if you're a parent, you would feed these kids 3 times a day, maybe 4, making sure they look healthy. They do not look healthy. They look like they're gonna slowly turn to zombies. Okay, what's up with that? What's up with that?
But as the story comes to a close, there is one detail that still needs to be addressed, and it's perhaps the most off-putting of all. Earlier it was mentioned that Devante was very much the star of the show on Jen and Sarah's social media. He was clearly the best actor of the bunch, and given that essentially every post seemed to include him, or just straight up be centered around him, it's not hard to see that he was easily the favorite child of the mothers. And why is this important to mention now? Well, because his body has never been found. Despite an exhaustive search, Devante's remains have never been discovered, not even a single bone fragment, leaving some convinced that the Harts allowed him to run away and start a new life, as after all, he was the favorite, while others believe that he may have actually been killed before the crash, as perhaps the mothers had taken his life upon discovering once again that he was out begging for food, with his body being buried somewhere else, though to this day his true whereabouts remain a mystery. And despite his missing body, a judge would later rule that he likely died within the car alongside his family, which is most likely the case, though some still aren't convinced, as if it were any other child it might be easier to accept. But the fact that it was him, the golden child, just makes it all so particularly haunting. Looking back at the Jen Hart channel, now with her entire family having perished by her own hands, is indescribably dark, and it represents one of the most unique and disturbed forms of manipulation that I have ever seen on this site. And knowing the long troubled history of this family makes it no surprise to me that something of this nature ended up happening. But that's all thanks to hindsight. At the time, if you wanted to know about the Hart family, this is what you would find. Wholesome family moments that seem just like the other millions of accounts here on YouTube, that in actuality were carefully orchestrated pieces of a fictitious story that Jen and Sarah were crafting, a story that would only be exposed when it was already too late.
Wow. Okay, alright. How does that make sense, man? How does that make sense, man? I don't know. I don't know how that makes sense. Bro. That's just, wow. Like, if I was the executioner, like, a simple guillotine would have not been enough to satisfy me. It would not have been. It wouldn't have been enough. Like, I need something that's slow. Like throwing them to a pit of like fire ants and everything. Just get chewed on by like millions of like fire ants, man. I'm not like for real. Just yeah. I can't say the black ants because they kill a little bit faster. But fire ants it's a little slower. So I would say that. I can't say normal ants. I could say piranhas, but it probably take about maybe 30 seconds, depending on how much meat they have on them. But nah, man, they deserve the worst type of punishment, man. No, the worst death penalty. Make sure it's slow. Make sure it's something to where I'm eating a bag of popcorn and I'm out of popcorn. Let me go get some more. So, out of this video, you're telling me that Sarah and Jen, one, they love manipulating people. And instead of trying to manipulate the world, we just have to manipulate the ones that are around us. So that way the ones that are around us can manipulate the ones that's around them, and so on and so forth. So if we start small with the group, they would do the rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, spread the word that we are the perfect family. We are the most loving family of all. Because why? We adopted kids that is not part of our skin. You know what I'm saying? So let us adopt 3 kids, right? We got 3 kids, Now let's adopt 3 more kids. So I'm thinking, okay, you like kids, that's cool. But you're doing something that, Angelina Jolie be doing, trying to adopt like every single kid in the world, starting a whole population, like got a whole planet next door, and we're about to rebuild a population and everything, right? Weird. But Sarah and Jen, like it got like one chapter it got to where on the Instagram photos, we're all happy, hugging each other. Got Devontae, which is our star actor because he's acting the most. He's doing great acting. So you are our favorite because you are bringing us money, and we decided to where, hey, listen, we're gonna create a necklace for you. Has a sign that says free hugs, and we're gonna make sure that you get all the attention. And he was. Got the single dancing videos, on stage and everything, the free hugs and all that, and just bringing kindness to the world. But off camera, they have not been feeding these kids. They had a child named Lee, and it got so bad to where she's eating out of the garbage can. She's eating scraps, man, like a homeless person, like a bum. And to top it all off, they have the audacity, the audacity to where you are allowed to speak if you raise your hand. You're not allowed to say happy birthday. You're not allowed to have happy birthdays. No. Oh, it's your birthday? I don't care. And you're not allowed to laugh at the table. And it gets even more to where we are basically controlling how much you eat. So it's like you're basically eating once a day. Maybe, yeah, like that. Once a day because, your kids, you grow kind of weak pretty fast. So we're going to give you, like I said, a French fry. Just to, keep your energy up. Just enough. Just enough to where you can still move around. You got Hannah taking abuse. You're not just getting a whooping. Now look, I wanna still talk about that. We all know parents, they whoop their kids. You do something bad, right? Because if you do something bad, okay, of course we all know you get a timeout. But what if? Hear me out. What if giving your kid a timeout does not work? Like you do this. No TV, no cell phone, no Wi-Fi, of course, I would say, of course, no Wi-Fi. Like, hey, you can keep your cell phone, you can keep your TV, your games and all that, but no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi. So, hey, you can play your game, sure, but you can't play with your friends, though. So, good luck playing Fortnite. That's all I can say. Hey, you know what I mean? But no Wi-Fi. The fact that Hannah had to go to black people's house, the fact you had to steal food at school because you're not getting fed hardly at all at home. The pets being fed, oh yeah. We giving the dog steak. We giving the cat like 2 cans of cat food while the kids eating scraps of what, bread? Of what? Like I said, a French fry, like slicing a single piece of a hamburger, like it's pizza, and man, that's bad. That's bad, man. And seeing that they had to move to different places to avoid the fuzz, the health and service, and they had to fake your death, but Devontae. Seeing you going around begging for food, and they did something about that. I probably would have believed if it got to where, he ran away. Not ran away. They told him to go on, get out of here. Since we like you the most, you can go and start a new life and all that. But it's like they knew that he would be exposing us. So the fact they probably buried his body somewhere in this world is like baffling. It's truly baffling, y'all. But yo, I can't say hope y'all enjoyed the video. That's all I can't say that. Nah. Hey, just know, I'm gonna be like checking these out more, cause it's like those are like the real types of videos, y'all. But hey, if you want to stay tuned, tap the buttons down below. You'll see the next video. But hey, hope you have a good day. Stay safe, and yeah, peace.